What's going on? Welcome back to 100% NUFC. So review time. It finished at St James's Park. Newcastle United 0, Fulham 0. And that game was dull, boring, poor. I could go on and on and on. I've talked about our home performances before, and this was by far one of the worst games of the season. How can you not have one shot on target against a team who conceded 42 goals at the start of play, who are currently bottom of the league, and I'm talking about Fulham, when at the end of the game, the fans and players alike are celebrating like they've just won the league? That just goes to show, when they're celebrating their first clean sheet of the season, it shows what is wrong with our home form and what is wrong with how we set up this season at home. This, for me, was a winnable game, probably one of the most winnable games of the season, which we should have won. We should have got something at home. And for us not to show up, not only in the first half, but in the second half, is a joke. It really is a joke. And you know what? That game was dropped because even the neutral would have said the same thing, that it was not good on the eye to watch. And for me, the reason why we're so poor at home is because Rafa Benitez sets up at home as if we're playing away from home. Yes, a 0-0 draw, if it had been at Craven Cottage, would have been acceptable, which I could understand from a Fulham point of view, that they need to win the home games to stay in the Premier League, just like we do. But when you play at St James's Park in front of 52,000 fans, and you're not, battering an eyelid to have a shot on target against a keeper who's letting that many goals a season, is a comical joke. Now, don't get us wrong. There's nothing wrong with the team that Rafa Benitez selected yesterday. The issue I do have with how he selects his team is how he goes with one up front. But let's just defend from the back. Let's soak up the pressure. We don't want to be soaking up the pressure against Fulham. We want to be taking the initiative and going for the first goal. I mean, Fulham had 2 shots on target throughout the game, which says a lot about them as well. I mean, they're no better than us, and we're better than them. Looking at the stats now, the first half, Fulham had a couple of pot shots. Nothing really to trouble Dubravka. We had one where we had a free kick, a set piece, which Jamal Lascelles managed to get his head on the end of it, but there was no one there to follow up because we've got nobody, to want to finish the shot off. We haven't got anybody that's willing to take a risk and have a shot at the goalkeeper, to get into those sort of areas and to, make a difference on the pitch. We've not got a player there that's going to be brave enough, to put the team 1-0 up when Fulham, they've got the worst goal difference, the panic, which is what they did yesterday throughout the game. And, they didn't look as if they wanted to win the game, and neither did we, which was, the most frustrating thing. And just watching how we're playing, the slow build-up, putting crosses into the box, they were just far too late. And, everything was delayed. And it was just really, really frustrating to watch. And in front of that many thousand fans, a game before Christmas against a team like Fulham, who are probably one of the easiest teams to beat this season. That's no disrespect to them, and they know that, because otherwise they wouldn't have sacked the manager. We've got a chance to get something, and we've blown it big time. Okay, 0-0 half time, I understand. Fulham have come up to defend. They're probably going to tire out in the second half. We're probably going to take the initiative and go and get the first goal, and probably go on and win the game 2 or 3-0. But that was nothing of the sort. Second half, it just got worse. It was just really hard to watch, and it was just really beginning to be the Newcastle of old and Steve McLaren, where we just didn't do anything, and we're allowed the away team, to take initiative into the game. And Fulham, they started to really believe in the last sort of 10 minutes that they could go and get something, and they would probably say, in the second half they should have got a pen at the end with Mitrovic. In my opinion, that's not a pen, because at the end of the day, Jamal Lascelles' his arm down like that. The ball was travelling so quick, he couldn't exactly do a great deal about it. If anything, it's good defending. He put his body on the line, which is what he did throughout the game. I mean, I know he's been off the last couple of weeks, and he's had an injury to deal with, but, at the end of the day, that's what a defender's got to do. Now, if they're going to contest that pen, then at the end of the day, we probably, should have had 2 in the first half, we should have had 1 in the second half. So, Fulham fans want to sort of contest that, then at the end of the day, we've had a couple as well, which has been waved away. So, at the end of the day, it's like swings and roundabouts. You get them or you don't. Now, at the end of the day, it was a drab game to watch. Nobody really done anything throughout the game. No one deserved the 3 points. It's a better point for Fulham than what it would be for us. And I do want to say something about Rafa Benitez and how stubborn he is. Why would you bring Kennedy on with 15, 20 minutes to go? Bring him on with half an hour to go when the game's not going anywhere and nobody's really making an impact. Why not take off Rondon in the 60th minute and bring on Mutu? Why would you bring on Manquillo or take Manquillo off for Deandre Yedlin with 5 minutes to go? Why would you go defensive against Fulham at home in front of that many fans? Why would you do that, Rafa? Why? At the end of the day, we need the points. You know, we've only won 2 games at home this season. We've won 2 home games this season. And that was against Watford and Bournemouth, and we're probably lucky to get 3 points against Watford. Bournemouth is probably the only game this season where we've probably deserved the 3 points. The other games that we've lost, West Ham, Brighton, Wolves, we should have got points and we didn't because we're too stubborn, we sit back and we play like we do away from home. It's acceptable, you know, to have, you know, a 1-0 scrapyard 0-0 draw, you know, somewhere like Huddersfield where you're just holding on. But what are teams going to do when they come to St James's Park? What are they going to do if they go 1-0? They're going to sit back, they're going to defend, and they're going to hold on for what they've got. Well, yesterday we showed no urgency whatsoever from front to back. I mean, I looked at the ratings yesterday and they gave Dubravka a 5, the worst of the lot, which, to be honest with you, yes, apart from that mistake in the second half, which could have cost her, to be honest with you, he had nothing to do. You know, and every time he got the ball, he was very good at distributing the ball to the defence to play up front, but there was no one there to finish. Now, you know, at the end of the day, I would say Dubravka, Jamal Lascelles, Paul Dummer, for me, were probably the best players on the pitch yesterday by far. By far, the best players on the pitch. The rest of them were non-existent. There was nobody there that was going to take the ball by the scruff of the neck and take the game by the scruff of the neck and go for it. You know, I was bored. Everyone was falling asleep. There was even people playing on, you know, their phones because they were that bored of the game. There was nothing to suggest that we were going to get anything from the game. And the longer the game went on, the more boring it was getting. Now, at the end of the day, Ranieri's come up and got his point. Fair play to him. Fair play to Fulham. They're going to travel down with a point. They're going to build on it. But, you know, our next games, we've got Liverpool at Anfield. We're probably going to get nothing. They're on red-hot form. We've got Watford, who've just taken West Ham apart. You know, they're in good form. And then we've got Manchester United, who've just appointed a new manager. They've just beaten Cardiff 5-1. So what can I say about that? Well, let's just say rest in peace our goal difference. Yes, we're good at defending, but we just can't score goals. You know, we need January to come. We need investment. Mike Ashley probably needs to sort off. We need somebody that's going to come in and, you know, give her that striker that we need. That's going to get 15 goals a season. Rondon was non-existent in the 60th minute onwards. Well, throughout the whole game. I mean, don't get us wrong. It wasn't just down to him. Perez didn't do a great deal. Nobody did a great deal. Diome, yeah, he was fighting for the ball, but there was not a great deal of motivation going forward. There was no real intensity in the game. And like I say, I was watching Match of the Day last night and Shearer was spot on. We just looked poor all over the pitch. And at the end of the day, it would have taken a 1-0 win from either way. And if we'd won the game, we probably didn't deserve to win the game. If Fulham got the points, they wouldn't have deserved it either. It's 2 bang average teams who are probably going to be fighting relegation this season. And like I say, we'll wait and see what happens in May. But like I say, Rafa Benitez, because he's so stubborn, he can't come out in the social media at the end and say, oh, well, the referee didn't give this, the referee didn't give that. Well, if you weren't so negative and put 1 up front and decide to go 2 up front, then we'll probably would get results at home. But because you play the way you do and you're so defensive, this is why we're losing games, and this is why we're getting poor performances when we shouldn't be getting poor performances, especially against teams like Fulham. Now, don't get us wrong, I like Fulham as a football club. You know, I like the fans and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, when you're at home, and Fulham fans will probably say the same, you should be going for 3 points. You should be going for it. And we didn't go for it. And that's the problem. This is why I'm frustrated. I'm angry because we should be getting the 3 points at home. We should be making St James's Park a fortress. This is what it should be like, you know, back in the day under Kevin Keegan, under managers that we've had in the past. You know, when we should be, you know, back in the day when we were getting good results at home. But now it's easy for teams to come up and, you know, get 3 points because we're so defensive. Now, don't get us wrong. At the end of the day, it's an off day, but we can't have too many of these. January can't come quick enough. We'll have to wait and see what happens. You let me know your thoughts about the game against Fulham yesterday. Let us know your man of the match if there was one. If you haven't seen the match day experience, I'll leave a link down below in the description. There'll be a box somewhere. As the dog's going hyper in the background, I'll sort him out in a second. But yeah, I'll be back with the Liverpool preview in the next day or two. And like I say, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the rant, but like I say, it has to happen. You can't be drawn 0-0 with Fulham at home, I'm sorry, and not have a shot on target. That's just criminal in my opinion. But anyway, dull, drab, boring game. I'll catch you all later. How are the lads?